Climate change protesters have brought some of our major cities to a standstill for a fifth day.
My name is Percy Rogers. I'm 92. I'm a retired general practitioner obstetrician, and I am now taking action against climate change.
Dozens of climate change activists have been dragged away by police as protesters today marched across the country.
My name is Jane Morton. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I've gone into semi-retirement so I can work full-time on the climate emergency. I believe there's no time left to act.
Climate rebels have wreaked havoc in the CBD today with extreme stunts causing headaches.
My name's Brad Homewood. I drive a concrete truck for a living. I've become a climate activist because I believe that civil disobedience through the climate activist movement is our last best chance of forcing the political change that the science demands.
It's not just school kids and millennials taking to the streets. Older Australians are protesting at climate rallies and say they're willing to put their lives and livelihoods on the line.
I'm definitely willing to get arrested many more times. I don't like the idea of jail, but I don't like the idea of a climate catastrophe either, of a dystopian future. I'm going to have to weigh that up as we go. If the climate continues to deteriorate, the equation might change for me, but yeah, I'm definitely willing to get arrested a lot more times.
Brad Homewood is well aware his job driving a diesel truck is at odds with his membership of the Greens Party and stance on climate change.
I justify it because firstly, I have to earn a living. Secondly, I have to operate within the system. And thirdly, there is no viable alternative to concrete. I'm sure some people would call me a hypocrite. There's always people that are going to accuse you of that. But basically, we are all hypocrites to some degree. The reality is we've reached a point where individual actions really don't make that much difference. We need radical change from the top down, from governments all around the world.
He says his parents and teenage son don't support the action he's taking.
My mum and dad are very supportive of the science, but they're very uncomfortable about the tactics that we're using. So that's very much an ongoing discussion and debate within our family.
The way I think about it is if I'm to die in my bed with a clear conscience, I want to feel like I did everything I could. We really need the oldies to join us. We need the oldies to take the risk. I'm risking my registration if I get arrested. I don't think I'll lose it, but there's a chance I could. But if I lose my registration, I just retire. It's no big deal for me. If some young psychologist in their 20s or 30s loses their registration, well, that's catastrophic.
Jane Morton says she's thought long and hard about how far she's willing to go.
When someone asked me this the other day, I said I'm willing to die, which sounds a bit extreme, but if I could die and save my kids, or especially if I could die and save human civilization, I wouldn't say I would welcome it, but I really think it's like a war where it's that level of self-sacrifice that may be required down the track. I would do anything. That's what I think. I would do anything because everything that I love is at risk.
Politicians and some members of the public have slammed the aggressive tactics used in recent protests. Streets blocked, bridges occupied, and police resources stretched.
I agree with what they're protesting about, climate change, all of that. I think that's a huge thing for society to be looking at, but the way they went about it, I just don't think they've done themselves any favours.
I think they've got a right to protest, so I support the concept. I'm not sure I necessarily always support the execution of how they go about it.
I don't think it's going to be an effective way to change this government's opinion, no. I think actually probably targeting corporations is actually going to be a better way to go.
You can't ignore them, I think, especially if you're coming to the city. They're right in your face, and I think that's kind of what it takes to get the message out.
Ironically, I thought that, with traffic bank up, there's more CO2 getting pushed up into the air because there's cars backed up for miles. You can't get onto the only electric form of transport using trains around. So I think that they've shot themselves in the foot.
These protesters acknowledge some damage has been done, but believe they have no choice.
We do always apologise. It's not our intention to cause people inconvenience. On the other hand, a lot of people say, well, yes, I was inconvenienced, but thank you for what you're doing, because you're sounding the alarm while there's still time to act.
There will be people that are upset with what we're doing, and we just encourage those people to have an honest and rational look at the science, see what the science is saying.
Look, I would love someone to tell us better tactics. I would really love the people who are so are critical of that to come up with a better idea. Until then, I'm sorry, I know it's inconvenient, but I'm going to continue with the tactics that have been devised because I think they're making an impact. I hope they take notice of the fact that I am not a hippie, I am not 16, 17 enthusiastic, but after many, many years of practice in medicine, I've decided that this is an issue which is so serious that I've got to be involved.
Percy Rogers is no stranger to protests. He was briefly a communist in the 40s, but now has no political affiliation.
I am willing to be arrested, whatever it takes really to bring to the attention of the politicians in Canberra that they are living in this world. Not in some bubble, they are living in this world, and so are the mass of Australian citizens.
He and these other older protesters say they owe it to younger generations.
I can't look my son in the eyes and say I knew about this problem and I did nothing.
This is the most important thing. Nothing else matters if we don't solve this.
I will continue to march and block the street, to lie down on my only worry about lying down on the road, I had a farm accident and I'm not certain I'd be able to get up. So I'd have to ask a policeman to help me up.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.